What's going on, everyone? My name is Twig, and today we are talking about Star Wars Bounty Hunter Remastered. I don't think they're officially calling this a remaster, instead classifying it as more of a re-release, but nonetheless this one was a fun one to 100%. I'm a pretty big Star Wars fan. I know a little bit of lore, probably not as much as a lot of you guys, but before we start talking about the game, I do want to mention my intro stuff. I have started doing YouTube videos covering games that I 100% complete to post here. I've been posting my written reviews on Steam for quite some time now, so if you do game on PC, feel free to add me over there, or join my curator group to be a part of that community of like-minded gamers. I've been busy playing a few different games at once. It's been awesome seeing all the positive feedback on the videos lately. We're literally inching our way closer and closer to my goal of 700 perfect games, but in this review we'll be discussing a little bit about the story. Not a lot because I don't want to spoil anything, but I will be showing some gameplay from later missions, so do keep that in mind. We'll talk about the technical state of the game. I'll give a brief achievement breakdown as well as my thoughts on the title as a whole. To be honest, I really enjoyed my time with the Star Wars game. The achievements weren't hard to obtain, and the price for it, in my opinion, is spot on. This remastered version of Star Wars Bounty Hunter is priced currently at $19.99 on Steam in the US. It had a launch discount that brought it down to $17.99. Although the remaster was done by a company us Star Wars fans know very well from the abysmal launch of Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection earlier this year, Aspyr did a very good job with this one. I can say I was genuinely pleased with this release. The improvements they made, which we'll talk about in just a second, help sell the game to fans who have experiences playing this game in the past on the original release consoles. For new players, if you enjoy games from that PS2 GameCube era, then this will probably be a great game for you. But if you find it hard to go back and play older games, then this game may be a harder sell. Just to give a brief timeline here, Star Wars Bounty Hunter was originally developed and published by LucasArts and released on the GameCube and PlayStation 2. Then later on, a PS2 version was later re-released, I believe as a PlayStation 2 Classics title or something for the PS4 in 2016. When we fast forward to present day, the version of the game that we're talking about here is an enhanced quote-unquote remaster developed and published by Aspyr and was released on pretty much all the platforms about 6 days ago. Star Wars Bounty Hunter is a prequel to the 2002 film Star Wars Episode II Attack of the Clones, and the story is a continuation of the comic book Jango Fett Open Seasons. It's set in the Star Wars Legends expanded universe, and you take the role of Jango Fett, a former Mandalorian warrior, and you learn about his backstory leading into Attack of the Clones. I originally played this game on PlayStation 2 back in the day and never beat it, so I was really stoked to have this enhanced version so that I could conquer the game on PC and get all achievements for a title that I played as a kid. The setting takes place 10 years before Attack of the Clones and shortly after the Battle of Naboo. Sith Lord Darth Sidious orders his apprentice Darth Tyrannus, aka Count Dooku, to eliminate his former pupil turned Dark Jedi who had become a problem to his plans. The name of this Dark Jedi is Komari Vosa, and she's leading a crime syndicate known as the Bando Gora. After finishing up a mission and claiming a bounty, you are then contacted by Tyrannus with killing Vosa for 5 million Republic credits. Complete missions and capture bounty targets, which reward you with credits that can be used to unlock concept art in the main menu, as well as unlock achievements. There are 6 chapters to the story, each containing 3 missions for a total of 18 missions. Each one contains a secret feather that in turn unlocks these cool virtual trading cards from the Star Wars trading card game back in the main menu, and more importantly, unlocks another achievement for collecting them all. As you play, you can pause to see your mission objectives list, along with how many optional bounties you have secured. On your screen, you can see your health in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen and your weapon equipped in the bottom right. Use tools like your scanner to spot bounties and your fiber cord whip to secure them. When you get your jetpack and use it, recharging fuel bars will show up on both sides of your health bar, indicating how much juice you have left. There are blue canisters that you can pick up and refill health, ammo boxes to refill guns, booster packs to enable you to fly longer, and even new guns altogether. You can definitely use certain weapons in certain scenarios to help you stay alive or defeat bosses. Combat feels killer with the dual blasters, and the sniper comes in really handy on some missions. The UI is super simple and very easy to read in combat. You can lock onto enemies or shoot freeform, and it's good to note that you can now fire your blasters either by holding down R2 or tapping it as fast as you can. For the first like 2 missions, I didn't know that you could shoot faster than the speed of just holding down the trigger. Jump, climb, and maneuver your way over obstacles to advance through the levels. There is a good bit of traversal involved in this game, which is a huge positive in my book. I enjoyed the movement and the feel of platforming while using the jetpack. In terms of enemies, there are a variety of different species and creatures that you will need to kill or capture. If you're a Star Wars fan, there are some that you'll definitely recognize and some that you may have never seen before. The missions progressively get harder, but not too bad. If you're going for the capture all secondary bounties achievement, then that's what makes the game hard in my opinion. To unlock this achievement, you'll have to capture each bounty alive, even if your scanner says that they're wanted dead. In turn, you may not receive any credits for your capture, but it's what you gotta do. You'll run into instances where they run off a cliff or are killed by other people or creatures, or you'll accidentally kill them. In this game, even though you get to checkpoints throughout the mission, you have to replay the whole mission if a bounty dies, which can be super frustrating. On the contrary though, once you pick up the secret feather, you never have to worry about picking it up again on that mission. Every third mission in a chapter ends with a unique boss battle, and all of them were super cool in my opinion. There is no difficulty setting to turn up or down in this game. You get 5 lives per mission, and if you run out, you start over from the beginning. Where the checkpoints are placed in each level feel right, and I never felt like the gap between them was too long. When you do die, or if you do die, the enemies that you've killed or have died won't respawn, so you don't have to worry about clearing a room over again. But with that also brings back my point on bounties. They stay dead, which is why we have to restart the entire level over again. Also, progress made towards a boss's health bar stays where it was when you died as well, which is pretty cool and makes the experience easier, especially on certain bosses. Overall, I wouldn't say the game is hard by any means. Collecting all bounties definitely makes it a tougher and a little bit more tedious since you're having to break out your scanner and check everyone, but it's not that bad. To get all achievements, it took me roughly around 12 hours or so. A normal playthrough is probably around 7 or 8, I'd say. With this new remastered edition, there are 37 achievements in total instead of 13 trophies on the PS4 version. The new amount includes all of the old ones plus a ton more, but they are all ones that you would naturally unlock anyway, such as killing an enemy with every type of weapon, killing a non-enemy, using Mandalorian Rage for the first time, which is this ability that you can find and pick up that enables you to not take damage, which is usually placed in areas with a lot of enemies to help you out. There is an achievement for claiming all bounties on a single level, which you'd naturally get anyway after going for the all bounties achievement. There's one for earning X amount of credits, completing each chapter, marking your first bounty, etc. At the main menu, you can enter cheat codes to help aid you as you play the game, but on the PS4 version of the game, according to PlayStation Trophies Guide, using certain cheats could glitch out some trophies and make them not pop, such as the killing X amount of enemies trophy and the trophy for finding all the secrets. I assume that glitches would be fixed in this version, but I didn't take any chances and just played the game normally, like I would anyway, but it is good to note. A major difference I also found is that the achievement for killing 150 enemies without killing any non-enemies is tied to a certain mission in the new version, which can be a little tricky, whereas before there were ways to farm 150 enemies easily without having to worry about killing any civilians. Differences between the remaster versus the original is what a lot of people are probably interested in. Obviously, the upscale in graphics and detail make a ton of difference. You'll notice right away from the opening scenes that the game looks better visually. I noticed a huge difference when you go past the holograms in the target practice area on like the first mission, I think. You can tell that it is a Jar Jar hologram easily now. The remastered character models and level detail is absolutely insane, and a huge plus for me. Jango has a proper shadow now, lasers look crisp, and graphically, Aspyr did a great job keeping the PS2 era feel of the game, just with enhanced visuals. As far as gameplay goes, the free aim ability makes it way easier to aim with a controller. I still had trouble moving while locking and unlocking from enemies in tight spaces. That just didn't feel right sometimes. If you stay locked on to enemies, then it's not bad, but I found myself trying to unlock and then turn quickly and then jump at the same time, and it didn't feel like the game wanted to do that. One problem that still exists though is that some of the enemies will casually walk off platforms and die, in particular bounties that you're trying to take alive. The Death Stick Factory is a notorious level for enemies running off ledges, and personally, I had a ton of trouble with the Tuscan Canyon level. I replayed that thing like 9 times, and it's about a 15 to 20 minute level. The last 2 enemies right at the end just love to jump to their death. There are some bugs that people have been reporting, like clipping issues and minor things, but nothing really game breaking. You can also hot swap between weapons now, but I just found myself flipping through them quickly on my bar. This is a native port and not an emulation, and you can tell. Performance has been rock solid, and I ran into no crashes throughout my playtime. In the settings, you can switch between 2 different control settings, Legacy for the original control layout and Modern for the new. Also, there is keyboard and mouse support that actually feels really good for a game that was originally developed for console. A few quality of life improvements that I thought were pretty cool are there is now a slow down time feature while you're in your bounty hunter scanner. Before it was like real time, and now it makes it easier to pick out who your bounty is in a crowded room. Like I said before, you can hold down your blasters to auto fire instead of having to continuously tap the trigger, even though I preferred the tapping. Lastly, the camera controls are way better than before, and with the modern controls and free aim, you will definitely have a more pleasant experience with the game, especially if you've never played it before. I got super excited when I heard this game was getting a fresh coat of paint and releasing on Steam so soon. It snuck up on me out of nowhere, and honestly it was a really fun time 100%ing this one and finally beating this game after so many years. I was so hyped for the game that I pulled up a playthrough on YouTube and started watching to see if I could remember how far I actually got back then. I ended up watching a ton of episodes of this guy's walkthrough. He helped me locate a few hidden secrets in the game. His YouTube channel name is Stay Lost, and I highly recommend checking out his walkthrough. Shout out to Stay Lost for the great helpful videos. It was a fun series to watch. The story in this game is such a huge positive for me. I love Star Wars lore, and I'm always wanting to learn more. I had a blast with Dark Forces earlier this year, and now getting to play as Jango and Bounty Hunter is freaking awesome. After beating this game, you get the Boba Fett skin for subsequent playthroughs, which is super cool. I would really like to see more older Star Wars games get remade, remastered, or enhanced, whatever. Let me know in the comments below which game you'd like to see them do next. One thing I would like to see added would maybe be the X and Y sensitivity sliders be separate to help with looking up versus side to side, although it's not a super big deal to me. It was cool to see how Jango acquired his iconic ship, Slave One, and how he was selected as the genetic template for the clone army. I enjoyed the combat, the missions, the bounties, all the different areas and bosses, the supporting characters, and even the bad guys. The feel of the game is so nostalgic, and I'm happy that I had the opportunity to cover this one in a review. I did want to mention that I played through a few missions on the Steam Deck with default settings, and things ran great. It is verified on Steam Deck, so that's a good sign. It's definitely a title worth grabbing and playing in your free time. It's a really fun third-person action Star Wars game. Missions aren't too long, and overall length is good for the price point of the game in my opinion. If you grab it on a sale, even better. If you stayed to the end of this one, then I applaud you. It seems like I've been rambling on for quite some time now. There's a lot to cover about this game, and I'd be surprised if I didn't leave out something. I really wanted to cover Star Wars Outlaws, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get it since it's not going to release on Steam. It looks pretty good, but I've got a lot of games to keep me busy. Be sure to like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. I do want to say I appreciate all of you for watching. These 100% review videos are really fun to make, and I'm glad that some people are enjoying them along with me. I'll talk to you all in the next one. It should be coming fairly soon. Have a wonderful week. Peace.